we're back. It's another day in the game for me and your boy, Sean Lionel Watkins, here to enjoy the rest of your weekend and get your week started. Sean, how you doing, my guy?
Man, I am fantastic. Fantastic.
You look fantastic. Are you using a new face moisturizer, sir?
No, I'm not. I'm just washing my face regularly, which, you'd be surprised. A lot of people don't do that. So, wash my face regularly, put a little lotion on it, and we keep it pushing, man.
Neutrogena.
How about yourself?
Neutrogena, if you want to reach out for a Sean Watkins sponsorship, I mean, to get this guy in early before anybody takes him would be great. I wash my face sometimes. Not every night, I forget sometimes. But I think if I get your outsized results, I might do it more frequently. You look fantastic, sir.
Oh, thank you, sir. Likewise, man. Yeah, don't sell yourself short, man. You do pretty good, So
Thank you, guys. Today's episode of the Beat the Best podcast is brought to you by nobody yet, and that's okay. We'll get there eventually. But we will be talking about the Wemby contract extension and whether or not there's a double standard going on for asking players to take more money. We're going to jump into that, talk a little bit about World Cup, and we'll proceed to talk about the sports world. That's what we do best around here. Sean, but before we get into that, sir, do you know what really grinds my gears?
I don't, but you're going to tell me. So let's have it.
When people die, Sean. People die.
Yes.
Life and death is a part of this human experience. Lindsey Graham passed away on Sunday. It was Saturday night or Sunday. We're talking about it Sunday, so by Monday, everybody will know. And, it's a bifurcated reaction on how they should feel about him being gone, right?
Wow.
On the GOP side, Lindsey Graham was a great guy. On the Democratic side, they're like, he was a POS and, we're glad he's gone. It's hard to be honest about how you feel sometimes when you're in a public sphere. So we'll just say thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers to the Graham family. Because that generally is all that anyone ever gets is thoughts and prayers. So we will offer the Graham family the same thoughts and prayers that have been offered to those that have fell in death before him, sir.
I would agree. Thoughts and prayers, to the Graham family. Yes.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that. I just don't, thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers. Because the beautiful part about thoughts and prayers is that it's a thoughtful thing to say, but it doesn't really amount to anything.
Mm.
In America, we've had school violence for a long time now. We've been talking about gun control. Me as I'm actually a 2A advocate. A lot of people don't know this about me. I'm a gun owner. I believe everyone should, I believe everyone should have the right to defend themselves. I also believe there should be common sense gun laws as a father. So you can have two views that make sense, but just offering the kids thoughts and prayers is rough for me. So I'll offer Lindsey Graham thoughts and prayers and let the politicians figure that part out because it doesn't seem to be working.
Right. I mean, that's all they can offer is thoughts and prayers but there's real solutions out there and we know they are because two things can be true. You can have the right to bear arms, but you can also have smart gun control. So, but, hey, special interest groups don't want that.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
It's funny because if we go down this, and we can because it's our show,
Yes.
people don't use the internet to actually look up facts. They get caught up in conjecture. If you look it up, if anyone wants to, if you look at how much the gun lobby has given to the GOP over the last 20 years, you'd be surprised of the millions of dollars of people that have received money for their votes, which is gross because no one should be paid for their vote.
Right.
And yet, I still believe that we as Americans have the right to defend ourselves, right? I also think you shouldn't leave weapons around for kids to touch, and there should be protection for our most vulnerable assets, which are children. It's a little gross. So when we talk about a Lindsey Graham who will be remembered for, what did they say in the Bible? The things you reap, you sow. Yeah.
Right. You reap what you sow. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the plants that he planted and the fruits that he bore from those plants haven't been all positive. So we wish thoughts and prayers. Sean, Let's move on, sir. Let's move on
Sure.
to something that I'm really excited about. Your boy Wemby re-signed, re-signed or renewed? Not renewed. He extended. I'm sorry. He
Extended. Yep,
extended his rookie
extension.
deal for $252 million. When you saw that, Sean, what was your first thoughts?
I was like, that's great, but I thought it would be more.
Hmm.
He was
You
definitely
thought it would be
he
more,
he's
sir.
def
Pray
I
tell.
yes, well, I'm thinking, you look at a few players recently that's made over 300 million, and
Mm-hmm.
here you've got a guy, and Wemby's in his third or fourth year. I'm not sure, third year.
I think he's going
He
into his
just
fourth
finished.
year.
Okay, going into his fourth year,
Mm-hmm.
and he got his team to the finals, and so I'm thinking, okay, yeah, back the Brinks truck up and give this guy. He's got to be well over 300 million. So when I saw it, like I said, mixed emotions. Fantastic. I'm glad he signed. He's going to be there. The Spurs are locked in with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But man, not getting over 300 million, it kind of perplexes me, if you will.
Yeah.
I'm like, interesting. So I'm glad we're going to talk about it because I was thinking, like, man, uh, money left on the table.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about it. I mean, obviously, guys, we're in World Cup, and we're going to touch on that at the end of the show. And so that's a whole nother conversation. But I wanted to touch on this because I love Wemby. I love him. And I didn't like what I saw. So to your point, I have it written out here. The media is throwing a parade for Wemby, leaving 50 mil on the table. For the team, why are we celebrating a 22-year-old taking a pay cut to protect billionaire bank accounts under the guise of team flexibility? And that's really the thesis here, is that Wemby did leave $50 million on the table, so he should have been getting paid about 303. He left about $50 million on the table because he wants the Spurs to, build a championship caliber team. And my knee-jerk reaction were two different things, Mr. Watkins. The first being, it's not the player's responsibility to assist the team in getting the right personnel. A, your job is to be the best player you can be. And B, the player has the shortest window of owners, of GMs, of coaches to get a championship. Wemby, at his best, will only be at the peak of his powers for another decade from now. Tops. So these were my major issues when I first saw this, Sean.
Yeah, I was the same way. It's, sports. Um, is probably, well, I won't say sports is the only place that this happens, but it's so weird to find, and you see billionaires, and the narrative being pushed that billionaires get to ask millionaires to take pay cuts. It's
Oh, no, 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 no.
wild to me.
Rewind and say that again slowly for the people at home.
It's so wild to me that billionaires get to ask millionaires to take a pay cut.
There it is. Go ahead. Go ahead,
So
sir.
yeah, so I don't get it. These billionaires, and we look at it, and they always often say, oh, well, they don't have enough room to maneuver, the salary cap, and then there's luxury taxes and all these things. But we're talking about billionaires, and billionaires, I get it. They didn't become billionaires by being stupid with their money. I understand that, but at the same time, they have enough money, and it's not the player's responsibility to build out a team that's a winner. If you are a billionaire owner or governor, if you will, and you have a team and you want to win, it's your job to figure out how to do that within the constraints of the salary cap. And so it's not the player's job. The player's job is to go out on the floor, give their best, give their maximum effort, and then whatever the value is of that player, whatever their points are, whatever the metrics are, that's what they're supposed to get paid. And so that's what's supposed to happen. But there's this, and I always talk about this. There's always narratives out there, all of these narratives that say, oh, well, if you take all your money, it's your fault that you don't win a championship because you didn't take a pay cut.
Now see
Hmm.
that right there, that is what makes me nuts.
Yeah, it
Is
is. It
this
makes me nuts as well.
this narrative that because the player got his maximum value or his representation negotiated the maximum value, that now they're demonized because, well, what about the rest of the team? Hey, man, that's not my job. And I love winning. I love winning over everything. I hate losing. I'm saying it's your job, sir. My job is to be the best player I can be. Your job as the GM is to fill in the blanks and get the best team on the floor. That's not my job as the player.
Right.
Like, if we look at
Right.
some people who've done this, Sean, Chet Holmgren did it with OKC. Jalen Brunson did it with the Knicks. Dirk Nowitzki did it with Dallas. Chris Bosh, D Wade, those guys did it with Miami to fit them all under the cap. So the problem isn't the players getting paid. The problem is the cap, and that's the issue with me. Like Wemby, LeBron, Steph Curry, Joker, those guys are underpaid. And when I say underpaid, guys, before you blow me up in the chat, I don't mean compared to a teacher who works 40 hours a week. Of course, that's different. I'm talking about according to the value that they bring in and that they create. Does that make sense, Sean?
Right. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. The value that they bring in each arena that they visit when they play, as well as their home arenas, they're bringing in millions on top of millions on top of millions of dollars that they won't see, even though they're getting these huge contracts. So you're absolutely right. It's really annoying, if you will, when these players are celebrated for taking a pay cut when it's not their job. These owners they have to figure it out, and they have to, if they really want a winner. And you notice that we watch a lot of basketball. We understand the NBA, and the NBA is there's probably only 15% of the NBA owners that really want to win. The other ones are just, hey,
I didn't even
because
say
you could tell.
10%. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
could tell by the pattern when they get their players, they get these great draft picks, and they get all of these players, and then all of a sudden, when it's time to pay them, we don't see your value that much, so we let them go in free agency or we trade them.
This is why,
Prime
Sean, this is
example.
why I love you. Keep going, sir.
Yeah, this prime example, and I have nothing against this franchise, but let's keep it a buck, chat. The Washington Wizards,
Worst
they
management in
don't want to
sports.
win.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they don't want to win. Can you think about how many players they've had over the years? I mean, you had a young Chris Webber, you had a young Juwan Howard, you had a Gilbert Arenas, you had these guys that you could build a franchise with and really become one of those franchises that could make some noise and could have been top in the Eastern Conference, but you haven't done anything. And here's the thing: now you've got Anthony Davis, if you can keep him healthy, which would be great. You just got the number one pick in AJ Debonta.
AJ, the
You
gangster.
just
That's what I
signed,
call him. I
yeah,
call him AJ the gangster.
gangster. Yeah, I like that. That's nice. And then you signed Trey Young, and then you've got some of your pieces from before. A few years ago, you had some number one picks. Just last year, I think, top five picks. So you've got a nucleus. But what I feel, and I don't know, they may prove me wrong, but what I feel is they're not going to be able to keep those players. They're not going to put a great product on the floor, and all of those players are going to be gone because they don't believe in paying these guys their value, and that's why they leave. And so to my point, 10 to 15% of the owners
Yeah.
don't want to win, but they still want these players to take a pay cut. It really makes no sense. Pay these guys their value. Wemby, fantastic. You got your money. That's great, but you should have gotten your value because
Yeah,
the
Sean.
San Antonio.
So this is the thing. The problem is the numbers. Okay,
Mhm.
this is a numbers game, and let me tell you why, Chad. It's a numbers game because when you see a number like $252 million, the standard person, including us, we go, man, that's a boatload of dough.
Right.
Because $252 million is a boatload of dough. Also, again, never feel sorry for a man who owns a plane. Also, $252 million net is half. Okay, after agency fees, taxes, so it's half. Okay, so he's gonna make half that money over the next however many years. My thing is, and this is really problematic. Jalen Brown is now making more money than Wemby.
But listen,
Go
listen.
ahead.
You're cooking, but
Go ahead.
listen. Speaks to my point. the Boston Celtics, even though they've got max production
Yeah.
out of Jaylen Brown, did not see his value going forward, so they traded him. And like we alluded to last week, for a pack of now laters and some bubblicious
The juicy fruit.
watermelon flavor.
Watermelon flavor. The best flavor Bubblicious has ever made, by the way.
Oh,
If you never had it,
yes.
Chad, go get some watermelon Bubblicious if you can find it.
Oh man,
But
it's
yes.
ridiculous.
Yes. Like it's
So
crazy. So you're telling me, okay, and I know we're looking at $252 million. Oh, that's big money. Okay. You're telling me that if we're standing on the court and you're a GM and you can purchase either player for your team, you're gonna take Jaylen Brown over Wemby?
probably not. I wouldn't.
Probably not.
And I love Jaylen Brown.
They're not even in the same class of athlete. They're not even. Wemby is a generational, once in a lifetime player. He's up there with Shaq, Wilt, Mike, LeBron, where, we got to get it right because it's only every 25 years a player like this comes along.
Right.
He's worth every single penny. Wemby's real worth, if there weren't a salary cap, if this were baseball, because remember A-Rod numbers were stupid. If this were baseball, Wemby would be re-signing for 5 years, $900 million.
Yeah, he'd be like Shohei Ohtani for the Dodgers. This guy, didn't he sign like a $700 million contract or
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah, I can look it
so,
up while you're talking. Go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, he would be worth anywhere between 7 and 900 million easy, because the revenue he's going to bring in, it's just
10 years,
ridiculous.
700 million.
Yeah, 10 years, 700 million.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, maybe the NBA should look at not having a salary cap. That would be crazy, right? But I mean, you could really pay these guys value, and then you could get better teams, put together better teams, and I think the NBA would be a better league, because now these guys are getting paid. Everybody's happy. Now it's strictly basketball. It's not about money now. Everybody's got the money.
Let you cook now. Now,
Yeah.
baseball doesn't.
Now it's like,
You're killing it.
go
Baseball
ahead.
doesn't have a salary cap. But you
Right.
know what Ohtani did? He did the Dodgers a favor. This is the type of favor I like. Ohtani deferred his money. The remaining $680 million is going to be paid out in installments from 2034 to 2043 after his contract ends. So they spread out the payments over a longer amount of time. Why can't we use something like that in the NBA? Now, I'm not saying every player deserves that type of leeway, because you can get jammed up that way. But for the
Right.
top of the food chain players, the once in a generation players, there should have been something like this for them, because they are just not making the money that they should be making. And I don't care what anyone says. I don't.
Yeah. And you're right. And I totally agree with that. And here's the real issue too, because the top of the cream of the crop, the top notch players are going to get their money. It's still not their total value, but if they didn't have a salary cap, they could do that. And then the role players that you often lose in free agency because they want the bigger bag. You see what I'm saying? So
Yes.
you get a guy who, he's on his rookie deal and he's giving you valuable minutes, and he's making, he's got a 3-year, $20 million deal. Now he's up for an extension. Now I'm like, okay, well, I got to pay my star 350 or 400 million. Now this guy's going to want at least 80 to 180, 200 million.
Yeah.
He's going to want the mid-level max or whatever, however that goes. So now you don't have a dilemma. Without the salary cap, I can go, I can give this guy a max. I can give him a little more because now I can pay this money. But billionaires don't want that, because if there's no salary cap, that means they're going to have to pay more of the money that they make.
This is why, sir, you're my right-hand man, because that's a fantastic segue to my next point. Okay. So the reason to fishback, whatever, to piggyback on all kinds of animals, tailback, fishback, piggyback, of what you said, right? The owners have a double standard. Okay. Peter J. Holt and the Spurs have seen the franchise valuation skyrocket, primarily because they landed him. Okay. The hypocrisy is this: the owners don't lower ticket prices when they're a bad team. They don't lower parking fees when they're a bad team. The TV broadcast rights do not go down, they only go up. And it's all for the good of the fans and for flexibility. Owners don't cut their margins or voluntarily absorb luxury tax unless a championship is just given to them. So this is my problem. So here's the numbers, chat, okay? Because I have it right here. The Spurs were worth $2 billion before they grabbed Wemby. The Spurs are now worth $4.4 billion.
They
That's
doubled
they
in 3
doubled
years.
billion, okay? They globally made an estimated $100 million in team revenue, bringing the total team revenue to $401 million. I yield the floor, sir.
Man, it speaks to your point. It's these players are bringing so much value to these billionaire owners, governors, if you will, and it's really not fair. And I love that's why I love doing the show with you, because you bring up these points. The ticket sales don't go down. They really don't. I would even venture to say when the big market teams come to town. So if you're a team like Charlotte, and you're playing you're playing the Wizards, you're playing whoever,
Yeah.
and the Lakers come to town, or the Spurs come to town that have Wemby, or you get Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. I would venture to say those ticket sales go up, those
Yeah.
prices go up,
Prices go up.
because you want to see these generational talent, these players. So it's crazy. There's so many places that the billionaires could cut and do things, not only to make it more friendlier for the fans, but to pay their players. That way they could put a better product on the floor. But like I said earlier, they don't want, they don't care about, I'd say probably, 85 to 90% of the organizations don't really care about that. All they care is about the bottom line. I'm going to keep getting these draft picks. I'm going to keep getting you excited about every number one pick that we're going to possibly get every year. And then I'm going to trade them away package them with other draft picks and other journeyman free agents. And I'm going to keep my money in my pocket. And that's how I stay a billionaire.
That's how I stay a billionaire.
with a B.
Sean, you probably know this already, but even stadiums, when they're building new stadiums, billionaires don't float that money. It's done by tax revenue for the city, right? So the billionaires have a team in a house that they didn't pay for, reaping the benefits of the players that they're paying the minimum amount of money. It was the same thing with the WNBA. In their contract negotiation, I'm so glad the women held out so they got their money, because remember, those negotiations were like, they were all night negotiations before they got their money right. So all that to say, when we talk about making sure the player gets paid appropriately, these are the reasons why, because it doesn't last forever and you have to get your maximum amount. The owners aren't taking pay cuts, bro. They're just not. And the whole system is designed for the little person who makes, little person, we're talking about millionaires, again, billionaires versus millionaires, for the littlest person, smallest person on the totem pole to bear the most responsibility. And it's an inequity. It makes no sense.
Right.
It makes no sense.
But that's the way of the world. That's what it is. That's how billionaires stay billionaires. That's how they keep their money in their pocket. That's how they do these things. And the system needs to be, tore down, in my opinion. But like I said, another conversation is, okay, if that happens, now we're saying the players have too much power. We don't like that, which is crazy.
Yeah, we hate player empowerment. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be equal. Players and owners should have equal amount of power, so we can go to the negotiating table and say, okay, this is what do you want? Well, I want to keep money in my pocket. Oh, you don't care about a winning team? Okay, we can keep it moving.
What's that got to do with me? Like, what's that old song? I got a man. What's the man got to do with me? I got a man.
Right.
I'm not trying to hear that. See, I don't want to hear it.
Right.
Or like my brother Black Thought would say, nah, cut the check. Give me my money, because there's only one Wemby.
Right.
We're not talking about a journeyman shooting guard here.
I'm just saying. I'm like saying that's why these players need power to go to the negotiating table, so then we could put it back on these owners and say, hey, look, if you want a winning franchise, I mean, listen, I know you're not going to ever lose money. As a player, if I was in that situation, going to the table, I know the billionaires aren't going to ever lose money. They're always going to maneuver things to where they keep money in their
Yeah,
pocket.
we know this
They'll
already.
they'll break even. They'll
At
never
worst,
lose money.
at worst.
But at
Yeah.
the same time, I'm be like, listen, you're going to pay me my money, or you're going to send me somewhere where I'm going to get my money.
Mhm.
But it's going to look bad at you as the fans, because they're going to say the fans are hungry. They want a winner. They want the excitement. I mean, think about these finals. Think about the San Antonio Spurs fans and the New York Knicks fans.
What a great final that
Going
was.
to these games, the great finals, and just think about the fandom and how excited they were, man,
Yeah.
for their teams
Yeah.
to win. And so you want that in every arena, because think about it. You get that. And even if you lose, oh, next year we got to show up because they got a chance. They did it last year, so
Yeah.
maybe they could do it next year. And that's what you want as an owner. Because think about it. As an owner, I'm looking at it like, that's going to make me more money.
Oh. Sean, do you
Right?
think do you
Am I
think the
right?
Spurs will be worth more money 2 years from now than they are today?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, right?
Absolutely.
I was talking to Shorty. She was like, "Oh, how much were the Spurs worth? Were the Spurs worth? Are there any millionaires who own NBA teams?" I looked at her. I said, "Millionaires? To own an NBA team, you have to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
You can't be a millionaire anymore and own
Absolutely.
a team. You have to be a billionaire or a group. These companies, these corporations that own these teams, they make money. So let's give him his pittance of $250 million over
Right.
5 years." Mm,
Exactly. And then, yeah. And
mm.
see, and just to go to your point real quick, like you made a great point earlier about like even building the new arenas, the billionaires don't absorb that cost. It's the taxpayers.
That's right.
That is why the Golden State Warriors are in San Francisco instead of Oakland.
Mhm.
That is why the Raiders are in Las Vegas
Cook.
instead of Oakland. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
that's why Oakland, I love Oakland. I used to go to the Raider games. And now there's, unfortunately, there's no sports teams. Now the A's will be here in the next 3 or 4 years. They're out of Oakland.
Yeah.
They'll be in Vegas because Vegas, like, oh, we hunger for that. We'll pay the taxes. They didn't want to pay it. And the owners did, like, listen, we're not going to pay for it. So if your city doesn't want to pay for it,
Isn't that wild?
okay, we're moving. That's why, listen, that's why the Clippers are in LA.
Yeah.
San Diego
Yes.
did not want to pay for a new stadium for the San Diego Clippers to play. So what did they do? They moved north to Los Angeles, and they've been there. Just
Ever
think
since.
about that team. Yeah, think about that team in San Diego. That it would rabid fans,
They would
and they would have their own identity.
Yes,
They
they would.
wouldn't be it wouldn't be the Lakers, JV team. You know what I mean? It really wouldn't.
Yeah.
They'd have their own identity.
You're right.
But they
You're
don't
right.
want to do that. Same thing with the Chargers. Chargers left. They didn't want to build a new stadium. Guess what? Chargers are in LA.
To your point about the media narratives, Sean, is this is where you're 100% right. The media narrative shifts because the onus of responsibility falls to the public-facing figure, which is the player.
Right.
Because most billionaires can walk around in obscurity. Obviously, if you're Mark Zuckerberg or the owner of Amazon, you can't, because they're 100 billionaires. If you have a couple of billion, you can go to a chop house and nobody really knows who you are. But when you're Wemby and you walk around, everybody goes, "Boo! You fleeced us, and now we suck," and that's not fair. So, Sean, before we get out of here, we got to touch on the World Cup because I'm absolutely the biggest football fan now. Argentina won last night in what many people are calling the most scandal-ridden Argentina game ever, which I disagreed with. My point was that even though Argentina gets favorable calls, this is totally normal for great teams to get the whistle. It wasn't that shocking to me. Messi's going to get a whistle, and they're going to find a way to win. What do you think about great teams always getting the calls to go their way?
Well, I agree with it. You earned it, because when you've gone through the fire as a team, and because you've been on the other end. So I'm saying Argentina, all the great teams have been on the other end where they didn't get the calls. But as you fight through and you become great and you get to the mountaintop, now you've earned it. Now he's like, okay, these guys fought through that. Now they're going to get the benefit of the doubt because they are a good team, good organization.
I looked at it from a different lens because I looked at it from a person who hates when other teams get the whistle and it's not my team, right?
Mm,
I have despised the Kansas City Chiefs football team for years. I can appreciate Patrick
facts.
Mahomes' talent, and also I can't stand him. He's annoying. I can't stand, I cannot stand their team, and they have been the recipient of the golden whistle for years. I just can't stand Patrick Mahomes. So I understand the vitriol when it comes to people who don't like Argentina because they don't want to see a team like Argentina be the benefit of the VAR and the whistle. So I get it. But it's also a part of the game. That's what it
Yes.
is. It's not a separate part of the game. That's what it is, Sean.
It absolutely what it is. That was a great point. My quarterback that I still hate, even though he owns my two favorite teams. He owns he's part owner of the Aces and part owner of the Raiders now, and that's Tom Brady. And the Raiders haven't won a Super Bowl since 1983. And the one year we had an opportunity to win one, we're in Foxborough and we're playing the Patriots.
Snow
And
game.
yeah, the tuck
The
rule.
tuck rule.
That was a sack, fumble, and
Oh
we
my
recovered.
God.
And they called the tuck rule and
Mm-hmm.
said it was, and that's Tom Brady
Yep.
getting, and he hadn't won yet,
Right.
but he got the benefit because they were so good and he was so good.
Mm-hmm.
And then since then, you couldn't touch Tom Brady. Anything you
Oh,
blew on him,
my
it
brother in
was
Christ,
terrible.
they changed the rules for Tom Brady.
Yeah,
You couldn't hit a
exactly.
quarterback below the knees, or there's certain things you couldn't do. I was like, and I think the older quarterbacks were like, I'd still be playing if I if you couldn't hit me below the knees. What are we talking
Exactly.
about? And you
Right.
can't put your weight on a quarterback. So we can go on
Yeah.
this forever, and we have football season coming, so we're going to go into all this. But it's just frustrating because I'm like, Messi's a GOAT, period. So
Yes.
he's going to get the whistle. At the end of the day,
As
the
he
whi-
should.
he should. The whistle isn't the reason that they won the games.
It's really
It's
not.
not the reason, it's an assistance, right? So
Right.
when you gotta be the best to beat the best. This is a rule all across sports. That's why it was such a big deal when San Antonio, to go back, when San Antonio beat Oklahoma City, because
Right.
they were not getting the whistle and they beat them anyway.
Exactly.
Remember, you and
Exactly.
I were losing our minds.
Right. They weren't getting the whistle at all, and so they still beat them. So now you'll see San Antonio will get the benefit of the doubt
Ooh.
with the calls.
Hmm.
They'll be aggressive. Defensively, they could be even more aggressive. They'll get the benefit because they went through the fire,
Yep.
and now they can do that. And see, OKC will still have it. So that's why those games will be epic next season because now you've got a true rivalry because both teams will be on an even playing field. There's not going to be any one-sided whistles.
Yeah.
So to your point, your Argentina, your fans outside of Argentina understand they are a machine. They have the GOAT on their team. They're going to get it, but it's not the reason. It's not the sole reason they won the game. They were a better team.
Yeah.
So
They haven't beat anyone that I thought that, oh, they shouldn't have won. Right. The
right,
Cabo Verde game obviously was incredible. I don't think Cabo Verde was a better team. I thought Cabo Verde matched their intensity,
absolutely.
which is different.
Absolutely. I
Right.
totally agree.
But
Totally agree.
this is all setting up to be an Argentina versus France final, which is what FIFA obviously wants and everybody wants, because then it's going to be like, well, the chips were going to fall where they may. And that's what's going to make it good.
Exactly.
Guys, Be the Best podcast every Monday morning in your ear. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, like and subscribe. We're approaching 120 followers, and we're going to keep going until we get to where we need to be. Sean is my ace, man. I couldn't do it without you, buddy. I just appreciate you being here, man.
Man, I appreciate you having me, man. It's an honor for me to do this show with you. We're getting better and better. Chat, I know you're going to come at us with whatever we say.
Love
It's
it.
okay.
It's
We
okay.
love it.
Yeah.
We laugh. We laugh at you and we laugh with you.
We do both.
So keep it coming. We do that. That's what we do. So we love it. But thank you, my brother. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to do this, and we're gonna keep it going, keep getting better, and keep getting stronger.
Yes, sir. Thoughts and prayers out there for you guys.
Yes.
And yeah.
Thoughts and prayers. Oh my goodness.
We'll
Just
catch you on the
you're
flip
you're
side.
you're insane, man. You are nuts. Have a good one,
Peace.
people.